Hey!
Oh,
Joe!
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna see you.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry I'm late. I wasn't gonna come, to be honest with you, because I was feeling a little bit kind of put off a little bit after our last session, but
Wait, can I just stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, well,
Thank you for coming.
Mm.
I didn't think I was gonna see you. I was actually gonna just put a call in to you because usually what I do is if someone doesn't show up within the first 15 minutes, then I'll give them that 15-minute break. Because cars break down, kids, life.
Sure.
But I'm happy you're here.
Yeah, well, I had kind of a talk with myself, and I decided that I didn't really have the right to be mad at stuff that's true. And you said a lot of things that, even though I didn't like to hear them, I mean, I think I kind of needed to hear a little bit, and it changed my perspective about some things. So I'm back. You know, I can't really commit to anything beyond today. I'm going to see how today goes, but here I am, and here I am sober.
Good.
You know, 10 a.m.
What sparked that change? What sparked the waking up sober today? And how's that going for you?
Well, I was at home this morning, and I was gonna pour myself a drink because that's what you do, and that's my MO, right? And I was looking at the glass, and I was looking at the clock, and I mean, if I'm here to figure out why I'm doing what I'm doing, then I don't know, I might as well give it, like, I can always go home and have a drink if I want one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why not? Why not give it a shot? Why not give it a shot? So here I am.
How are you feeling though? Because you've been drinking for some time, no? You've been doing this for a few months, you said.
Yeah.
How is your body holding up to that? It's not very
I'm tired. I'm tired, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm just tired, and when the hardest part is not even the wanting to drink. Like, I don't really consider myself someone who has to drink. I've been drinking by choice. Like we talked about. Well, the choice was to help me forget, about all this up here, and that's what's up here.
Do you think that's working though?
Clearly not. But it's what you do. It's how it was done. My dad, we talked a little bit last time, was an alcoholic, and that's how he did it. And so I don't really know. I came from.
Was he the only one? First of all, when you guys were growing up, was he? Did you grow up with your mom and dad?
Yeah, they were married.
And was that new, him always drinking, or was something that?
No, it was my whole life. When you're little, you don't really understand, but you start, seeing things and figuring out what it is, and.
What do you think led him to drink? Because I remember you.
Dad?
Yeah, because I remember you telling me you want to forget, and believe me, your scenario that you shared with me, anyone would want to forget that. I get it. I'm just curious. Do you know what led him to drink? Do you know?
I really feel like if first of all, my father was the kind of man that if you asked him about it, he would tell you to mind your own fucking business. That I'm gonna do what I want to do, exactly as I want to do it, and nobody's gonna tell me any different. Yeah. So part of him probably did it because just to show everybody he could.
How did that make you feel though, when you would see it? Like, were there ever moments where your dad wasn't drinking that you thought you connected with him?
When I was real little, and he wasn't as bad, I guess you could say he was.
Well, what's as bad?
Sober, I guess. My dad always drank, always. But there were times when he was. Maybe it hadn't gotten as bad as it did, or maybe it hadn't gotten bad as it could have. I don't really know. But there were times when he was there. You know, he was like present and a dad, you know, like taking us places and going on vacation and him going to work, all those things. So he wasn't.
Did you like your dad? This may sound silly. Did you like your dad more drinking? Did you like your dad sober?
I didn't know my dad sober, so I didn't really have a choice. So the dad that I got was, that's the only one that I had. So he wasn't, you have to understand, it wasn't like he just started and turned into somebody, lost himself in something. He never really was. It's almost like that the sober version of him was like a mask, like a persona, like he was like drunk Jim, you know, he was drunk Jim. That's who he was, and anything outside of that was the act. Do you know what I mean? So I think he was long past coping. I think he was long past. I don't really know why he started. He never was one to talk about his feelings ever. So don't really know.
Did you feel like your dad was a protector? Aside
No.
From, no. So who do you think played that role in your house?
Oh, my mom.
100%?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it protect us from him, protect us from everything else, but her protection was working all the time. So she worked so that we could have somewhere to live. She worked to keep us fed, clothed.
Did your dad work at all? You said.
I mean, he did, but then he got hurt at work and was out of work for 7, 8 years. And what do you think he did all day?
Drink.
Yeah.
How was the relationship between your mom and dad?
Oh, I was happy when they got divorced.
Yeah.
I was 18. I was happy, and
let me ask you: was there ever any like domestic violence? Did you ever feel like?
Yes. So physical, it was on the kids. I don't think he ever hit my mother, but there's a lot of like drunk rages and a lot of like verbal abuse and a lot of aggression and a lot of conflict and a lot of, it was not, we did not grow up like the Brady Bunch. We were not.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people didn't grow up like the Brady Bunch.
No.
The Brady Bunch didn't grow up like the Brady Bunch.
I get what you're saying, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
My dad used to watch these shows, Leave It to Beaver and like the Waltons and all of these perfect families where parents were happily married and they were in love, and like it was just not what we were.
What do you think is a perfect family, if that even exists?
I try to have a perfect family, and I don't really think that we're perfect. Like, I don't think that everyone has all their shit together. Everybody's got pasts and skeletons and all of that. Like,
so functional.
I spend a lot of time on myself trying to get it right. Functional. You love your children. You respect your children. You take care of your children. You protect your children.
Yeah.
And so imagine then you fail your children, you know, and you grow up with this whole like, you're a piece of shit. You're never gonna amount to anything,
and you worked real hard.
There was never any validation, and there was never any feelings of support, and there was never anything. And then you spend your whole life saying it's going to be different, and you do all of these things to make it different, and you build your whole life for it to be different, right? You build your whole life, you take a completely different path, and then what happens? You come running and screaming back into something you left a long time ago.
And that's what you're talking about, is what happened to your son.
Yeah.
Now, when your son was born, you talked a lot about everything that you wanted to be different, almost in some essence better, with all due respect, than what you were raised as, right? And
better's the right word.
Yeah?
Better.
And how do you think you did up until let's talk before what took place? Because what I get from you
I
is
thought I had it together, I guess, to answer your question. I thought I had it together. Like, I thought we were pretty good. I mean, safe place to live, communication.
how was your
providing.
family, like your father and your mother, with your son? When you became a dad, did anything change?
My mom is still a huge influence in his life. She sees him all the time. She's remarried, and they're like grandparents. You know, they're like classic grandparents. I don't bring my son around my father. I don't, because that's protect your children. So why would I, knowing full well what happened to me, willingly put my child into that position? Because he's not going to change. He's never one to have or to have had that, oh, well, I screwed up my kids, but my grandkids, on the other hand, oh.
When's the last time you spoke with your father?
Well, he's been dead a little while, so not recently.
When did he die?
January, yeah. I saw him once at my brother's house, but we didn't really talk.
Yeah.
He did a lot of stuff, like he betrayed a lot of my confidence, and he pulled the ultimate prank. Like it was always about connection, like wanting to be a validated son, like wanted to be, like you want your dad to recognize you as something, like this is my son. Like,
did he favor? Is there any favoritism in your
oh,
house?
well, I mean, he favored himself.
Yeah.
I have two siblings, and I have a sibling who, he was like a United States Marine, had like the first grandchild, like rah rah rah.
Yeah. Hoorah, right? Is that what they call
hoorah,
it? Hoorah.
I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there was some preference there, but the reality is he wasn't the kind of father his own father was. He idolized his own father, and they had that relationship, and it just never happened.
Can I ask you a question?
You can ask me anything you want.
Was that in turn when you became a dad? I know you said that you wanted everything completely different than what you were growing up. Was that your focus to be everything and more protective to your son and be everything that he wasn't?
My focus was simply
or still is, because
well, at the time, and still is, although things are different now. I guess I don't really know what things are like now, but my goal was the plan is whatever, I don't know, is, was, were, will be.
Nobody knows the future.
To simply protect and love my child. That's it. Love my child no matter who they turned out to be, what they turned out to be, what they said, what they did, and to never give up.
So do you think it's fair to say your biggest fear was being your dad? As a father?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you talk a lot, it's very clear with the horrific experience your son had, tragic experience that your son had, and how it impacted you as a father. And I wonder if that has had an impact on you and made you reflect on the one person you didn't want to be like, because you didn't feel protected by him and all these things. I don't know if deep down
it's sort of self-validating, if that's what you're asking. Like, there's that part of me that you can't erase it. Like, I did everything that I could to be everything that I could. Like, I have two siblings. I'm the first and only to go to college, and so not only did I go to college, I collected all my degrees along the way. So like
for
you
you.
got the associate's degree, and you got the bachelor's degree, and then you got the master's degree, and then you know, work and you build this career and you buy this house and you like, you say, you know, I did it on my own, and you're still, there's that piece of you that you're still 6 years old, and you like, you want that validation. It's ridiculous, right? But you want that validation.
But that's normal. It's normal under the circumstances, especially where you didn't receive that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you worked so hard to make sure your son had that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you came in a few days ago, I thought to myself, what a wonderful man. And I know right now you don't see half of the things of maybe who you are or how you portray to your son.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope in the future maybe it's something we could explore, because I know we talked a little bit about your son and what he really feels about this whole situation, and I think it would be great in the future, whenever you're ready, to work on some family systemic work with just you and him, because I think a lot of your questions, doubts, fears, I think he'll be able to help resolve that, and that we can work through.
Look, I'm tired of therapy. Like when we did the whole,
I don't blame you.
We did the whole crisis management thing. We did like emergency services, and we did in-home therapy. Like, did you know that there's people that like come to your house? You know, they come to your house and they sit with you, and then we had to fill out this, like all this paperwork, all these assessments.
Yeah.
What was it, like a can. And it's like this thick, and you have to tell them everything. And so it just got to the point where I was like another person that I have to fill out this form for, and another person I have to say this. And it was always like, always me in the background for it, dutifully doing the stuff, you know. And then like family therapy, you can't fill a pitcher, or you can't fill a cup from an empty pitcher. Take care of yourself. So I tried taking care of myself, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm expected to let this angry kid rail on me, and another person telling me how much I failed, and more people saying, oh, you just go with this, and you just deal with this, and you take more, and you take more. And now it's your job to take more from people. Let them yell at you, let them scream at you, let them this, and like it's all too much. So
Absolutely.
When they sent me here, you know, and said, you're either going to go see this therapist or you're going to some commitment place, and I can't.
I know you talked to me about commitment place, and first I want to tell you that I know you feel, well, you are in a position right now where if they're mandating this or that, right?
Yeah.
These are your options.
Yeah.
But what I do want to tell you is this is not a situation where we can talk about what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
I agree with you. You've been through, the last year has been a rough year. Not to mention things that happened previous to that, whatever you've been dealing with.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, your ex leaving, your family dynamics changing in the home, and then putting trust in people and feeling guarded and feeling guilt and feeling a whole slew of different things. But what I want
That's a whole nother story, like putting trust in people and then having the carpet ripped out from underneath you again. You know, like, what did I do to deserve this? So then it all comes back to people like that whole self-fulfilling thing, you know. And then you try and talk to people, and you try to get to share with people, and you try to get people to understand your situation. You try to get people to understand, and you're so, and they say yes, and they say yes, and they smile, and they say yes, and then you know what? You need them, and they're not there.
And you know what's interesting about people? Relationships. Relationships require work. But you have to ask yourself, and exactly, you have to come to a point in your life when you say, is it worth all this work for this particular relationship? Or
I mean, I don't even want a relationship with myself.
Well, that's
So I don't
something that
know.
we can
I don't
explore.
know who that person is. I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to do now? What am I supposed to do now? That's the question. Like, give me an answer. Help me find an answer. What am I supposed to do now?
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I'm here on this journey with you.
Yeah.
So, what is it that you expect, or what is it that you're looking for here? Besides the point that you're
I'm here 'cause I have
mandated
to be.
So, what is something that you're hoping to get from here, or something you want to explore? You talk about the person who you were. I remember when I met with you a few days ago, you know, you did talk briefly, very briefly, about the man you once were.
Yeah.
And how
that guy doesn't exist anymore.
he may not exist right now, but is that something that you would like to see again, or find some happiness inside of you?
No, because that you can't go back to that. You can't, like.
Why?
Have you ever watched a video of yourself from some time ago, like maybe at a birthday party or an old Facebook video, and you really understand that in that moment of time you remember what you thought and your perspective on the world and how you, like, what your life was like at that time, whether you were struggling or whether you were happy, you were this certain thing. But then you watch this video and you look back and you're like, what was I thinking with that hair? Or like, where did that shirt come from? Or like, but you know what I mean? In the video, you're like, check this shit out. Like, you know, like my fresh cut, and it's like a high fade or whatever, you know? And even then, when you're like, oh, I had this great job and I'm doing this retail thing, or for whatever reason, right? But you look at that video and you understand that that's a different version of you. That's a version of you that, no, you could buy that shirt, cut your hair, get that job, and duplicate all those things, but it would never be the same thing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But that's
So I want you to understand that everything up until that time where I'm this thing right now must be what babies feel like babies, it's so paper thin right there. Everything got wiped out in a storm. So what do I have left? Like, I'm chronologically 43 years old. I've got this kid. I've got this house. I've got this responsibility. Like, I'm not 14 trying to figure my shit out. I'm not 17 trying to move out on my own. I'm not 21 looking at the world through fresh adult eyes. But I'm at this age and I feel like my whole past has been destroyed and erased. Not even erased, like just wrecking ball, dynamite, destroyed. And that was everything I could count on. Like,
and that was as a result of what took place to your son?
Just everything.
Or everything?
It's just everything. I don't know what caused it, but that certainly didn't help. So
perhaps that was the breaking point.
So what's next? What now? You tell me. You know this. You might not know me, but I'm sure you've seen this before. What now? What do I do now? How do I not? Can you blame me for not, like, imagine like you wake up in a world that you feel like you don't fit in, and you wake up in a world that you don't know how anything works, and you wake up at like, I don't have any, where do I go? What do I do? Like, going to buy milk just feels like an alien experience. Like there's no point in buying milk.
Why? Does it feel like an alien experience because it's not who you are anymore?
I mean, people buy milk, that's not what I'm saying. It
No.
just doesn't feel, everything feels strange. Everything feels like there's no security in life. There's nothing you can, like, you fool yourself into thinking you have this sense of security. You fool yourself into thinking, like...
Well, there's things in this life that we can't change.
Nope. So what now? You
So
tell
it's
me.
like, how do we move on? How do we grow? And that's different for different people, because change is inevitable. That's just life.
You're talking to me about
Mm-hmm.
growth, and you're talking to me about moving on and change, but what I'm telling you is that I feel like a broken person.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you grow when I don't even have ducks to put in a row?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even, like,
You know what we do?
gotta build the damn duck, you know?
That's it. We start from square one. I can't tell you where you need to be or where you should go. But I think a good starting ground is perhaps some of the things that you shared that you've enjoyed in life. And I think you touched upon it in a great way where you talked about a storm and how you feel your life right now just feels like the storm wiped everything away.
Mm-hmm.
What happens do you remember, I think it was a year ago when Maria hit Puerto Rico, right?
Mm-hmm.
Worst storm they've seen in some time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And what did they do after?
Just got up every day. But right now,
And
it just
rebuilt.
feels like those, yeah, but right
It doesn't
now,
come
like,
natural. That doesn't
right
come.
now, I'm those people,
Mhm.
you know, living in a shell
Yeah.
of what used to be their house.
Of course.
They have, you know,
Joe,
a
it's
box
okay to feel the way you feel.
of, yeah, well, so what's
Joe,
the problem?
you're
What's the
supposed to-
problem? So then if it's okay for me to feel the way I feel, then
Mhm.
why are people trying to change it?
I
Why are
think-
people trying to tell me, and why are people saying what you're doing is not right, and what you're doing, how you're coping, it's okay to feel the way you feel, but the way you're coping is wrong. And
Well, what do
need
you
to
think about the way you're coping? You said it before. You came here today sober, and
I
before
did.
you said hello to me, you said,
I did.
I'm here, I wasn't gonna come, but I'm sober since 10 a.m.
Yeah.
You must recognize something in yourself. Because what you feel, absolutely, no one can
Do
take
you
that
think
away from
I'm
you.
not proud, like I'm not,
No.
like I'm here, I'm sober, I'm an awesome
No.
guy. I'm just,
I get it.
I'm
You're
just,
trying.
I'm giving it like a piece of the world. Like you wanted a piece of, like here it is. But the problem is, do you see, like at least last time from what I remember, I wasn't so moping negative, and it's just so loud in my head, you know, like all of this is so loud. This is what's there, and this is why I can pour something into a glass, and then sooner or later I don't hear that anymore. Or I can unscrew a bottle top, and sooner or later
But
I
does
don't
it make
hear
things
that
better
anymore.
for you?
I mean, it's
I
a
just want you to
trade-off,
think
isn't
about
it?
something.
It's a trade-off, isn't it? Let me
Mhm.
ask you that, though, right? It's a trade-off. I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know how to cope with that. I don't know how to build from that. So what you're telling me is that I have to exist in it or face it, but you're sending a naked baby out into a hurricane
No, that's
to collect leaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. What else do you need to know? Tell me.
whatever you want to tell me.
It's your job to ask me questions. Isn't that what we do here? Like you said, what do you want from me? I say, what do you want from me? So what do you want from me? You tell me.
I want to help you. I want to help you on this journey. But again, it's your life. How do I know to get you where you need to be? You know that even if you may not know that right now. What I can tell you is I don't have a magic pill. If I did, I would give it to you and make this
And
all
I
go
would
away.
take it. You know
I would
damn
take
well
it
I
too.
would take it.
I would take it too.
You know damn well I would take it. Not think twice about it.
But change is inevitable. And I think that while you are struggling to figure out how do you move forward with living again, because you said
Oh, I need some help.
because you are
There it is.
existing.
I need some help. I need some help in moving forward.
I
and
would
putting
love
my
to
life
take that
back on track.
opportunity to help you get there.
Guess what you're in for? I'm a mess. I'm a giant mess. I'm a giant mess. So, there you go.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Why should I trust you?
You don't need to. This is your choice.
Why should I?
What I would say to you, like I would say to anyone, is in these four walls is a safe place, and that is my hopes. When you come in here, you can share your most vulnerable feelings. You can express as mad as you want. If you want to say fuck you, I get you. You know why? Because this is where you need to release your tension and kind of figure out what your next step is. It's okay to have all these emotions. That's why we have them. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be happy or to feel guilty or to feel like a failure. It's how we're going to be able to take these experiences, learn from them, grow from them, move past them, move through them.
Well,
it's a lot.
I'm not.
And it's not something that's going to happen overnight.
Then if I have to do it, if I get to do it however I want to, I'm not taking any medications because I did that before and it didn't do anything. It didn't
What did
help
you
me.
take before other than the Valium? I know you told me you were taking Valium to help you with your, your stress and help you be at peace. But then you started doing a little bit extra.
They had me on. I went to a doctor before when I was having a rough time with some stuff, and I went to a doctor, and they made me go see.
Where did you go?
This Riverview Counseling.
Okay.
So I went to Riverview Counseling.
How did you like that?
I didn't.
Why?
Well, I walked into this room, right, and the therapist or the counselor, or the guy or whoever, was like, "So what's your problem?"
Oh,
like,
nice.
"What's your fucking problem, buddy? Like, way to go. You just met me. What's your problem? You don't even want to say hi to me first. What's your problem?" So I told him I didn't have a problem, and I left. And they wanted me to see this psychiatrist, so I did, and it was this lady, and she was. It wasn't even like 10 minutes. I went in there and told her 5 things, and she's like, "Well, you must have this problem. Take these pills." She didn't tell me what they were. She just told me they would be good for me. So, I went and did it. I took this medication, and it turned out to be like a Seroquel, maybe. And I ended up just feeling drugged, just feeling out of it and just not being able to function. And I'm not gonna, I guess you could say I'm doing that to myself now, but when somebody else gives it to me, at least now it's my choice, So if I have to pay somebody to give me a pill that's gonna make me feel like shit, it might as well be my choice.
Well, this is what I wanted to tell you in regards to that. I think the best way I try to explain to anyone I meet with is treating the mind and treating your feelings is very different than you have an ear infection, you get some antibiotics, right? It's truly an art form because what works for you may not work for me. And what works for you in the first 6 months may not work a year later. So it is a lot of rhythmicity, reciprocity. It is a lot of trial and error. But I think when you have an open relationship with the person you're connecting with in terms of whoever's prescribing you medicine, it's very important to address what you think is working, what you think is not, because the one person who knows you best
is me.
Is the person that looks in the mirror.
Well, it wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
So
it didn't seem that way. Sometimes medicines make you that way because all medicines have side effects. Some medications, if you're given too much of the medicine, if the dose is too high, it can make you feel really down, really up. And the other thing I just wanted you don't need to commit to it. It's just to keep in the back of your mind, is it worth exploring in the future? Remember, we didn't get to really complete our intake process. We're in, we got to the first time we met 3 days ago. We've got to complete a lot of other things that I needed some answers on, which is great. But doesn't mean that I'm going to say, "Hey, Joe, now you're going to talk to my psychiatrist friend and she's going to give you some medication." I think it's worth meeting each other for a few more times. And really, the more honest you are with yourself, and believe me, I love brutally honest people because it helps us get where we need to go. At the end of the day, this is for you. It's going to get us where we need to be so that way we can really get you where you need to be and help evaluate the situation. I will never put or press you to have to take medication. All I say is keep an open mind. There are instances where people don't need that. They just need to learn new coping strategies, which I think you've addressed. And I think something we can try. It can be something as simple as like, what is interest? What interests you? Like, are you a person who loves to cook? I know you told me you like to plant tomatoes. So are you gardening? Is it music? Is it drawing? We can try different outlets to see how this works because, first of all, from drinking all the time, cutting it cold turkey is not going to be easy. But nothing is, we need to leave everything out in the open to see what's worth trying. That even includes
So you're telling me to
medication.
cut it cold turkey, so what am I supposed to do?
No, I'm not telling you to cut it cold turkey. I'm telling you that I'm going to meet you wherever you are. What I'm telling you is I know when we spoke 3 days ago, you talked to me about why.
I mean, I'm probably like, I came here to this appointment, but I mean, I can't promise you I'm not going to, like, be sober. You know, like I don't even know.
Well, let me ask you this. I don't expect you to walk away and stay sober until the next time I see you if we get to schedule a new appointment. What I can tell you is I would love to just safety plan with you because although you're the only person in your house.
Safety plan?
Yeah.
What,
and it's just about this.
Safety for what safety?
Well, I just think that sometimes when we drink too much or if you're mixing medications and you're mixing that with your alcohol, sometimes the end result could not be that good. Sometimes even fatal. I know you've been dipping and dabbing. Let's be honest here with your Valiums, and you're at 2 Valiums with a few drinks, and you get to a point for you where you've said you feel numb. But it may get to a point where 2 Valiums isn't going to work for you, and a few beers or alcoholic drinks may not work, and you may need more. In order for me to truly help you, we're going to have to address that in addition to everything else you have going on.
I'm not going to a rehab.
That's fine. My goal here is just to give you information and to help you get where you need to be. And just open your mind to what tomorrow can promise you. And today may be a good day, tomorrow may be a bad day. I just want you to know that I am available. And, we can meet with each other 2 times a week if you want, but right now, if you want to think about it, it's something that you can do. But it's something worth exploring because I do think that there's a lot for us to talk about. I think there's a lot for us to look through, work through, and I would love to help you on that journey.
Well,
so when you say you're drinking, I just want to make sure when you're drinking, are you not driving?
I don't have a car, remember?
Yeah.
I had that DUI and they took
So you don't have your
car.
license anymore?
I mean, I have a license. I just don't have the car because, the car, the insurance company wasn't going to pay for my mistake, so...
And I think that when we're using medications, maybe my homework for you today.
Homework.
I'll give you a little bit of homework. I know it's been a long time since homework. You know your medication bottle, a Valium that you have, on the back there's side effects. Why don't you just read what the side effects can be? And just so you have an idea, wow, maybe this may not have happened to me this time, but do you really want to take risks like that in mixing in your alcohol with your Valium? Just something to think about. Again, I'm not going to pressure you to do anything you're not ready for. But I think you've talked a lot about the man that you once were and the man you would like to be again.
That guy's gone.
And I can help you if you want him to come back, if not even stronger. It's our failures, right, or our biggest mishaps that give us life's greatest lessons. And we can get there, but it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight.
It's not. It's not going to happen overnight.
But before we end today, I just wanted to check in with you. How are you feeling leaving and coming back, if anything? Do you want to schedule?
Leaving, I'm fine. Leaving, I'm fine.
You have a ride?
I do.
Good. Same person that picked you up?
Same person that picked me up last time.
Is that a neighbor or?
It's just one of my friends. I mean, he owes me enough favors, so I'm like, take me to
Do you
the
see
doctor. Well, he lives down the street,
Well,
so
that's good.
take me to the doctor, and he thinks this is a doctor's office, so I'm not
Yeah.
telling anybody in.
Yeah, that's
And,
fine.
you know, take me to the doctor.
Don't worry, I'm not telling anyone either.
Right. And then, how do I feel about the rest of the day? I don't know. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
I'm not doing anything.
Have you been in your garden?
No. Maybe I should.
Maybe you should just go in your garden for 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes and tell me how that was like. Because I would love to know how to grow tomatoes.
Maybe.
Maybe you can do that.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know.
So, John, Joe.
It's Joe.
Joe,
See?
sorry.
That's
It's
it.
the Johnson part. I'm sorry.
Well,
Joe.
I've been called worse.
Well, Joe, I appreciate you coming here today. Do you want to schedule an appointment for next week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, so
Let's do it.
does Mondays and Wednesdays work for you?
Yeah.
So do you want to schedule both or just try Monday?
Let's just do Monday and see
Same
how
time?
it works. Yeah, I'll be here.
Alright, you want me to walk you out?
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright.